Welcome to our second session today, experiencing the benefits of linking documents, flowcharts, tickets, and support mails. So code and non-code assets enjoy certain benefits, meaning all the programs we load into SmartDS and all the documents we load into SmartDS are both indexed for instant retrieval, special character and regular character search. They both will support the usage of functions like saved queries, synonyms, Boolean searches, proximity searches, and they both support annotations within the content. So you can mark up a few lines of code, or you can mark up a paragraph in a document and annotate it. So without doing anything, out of the box, code and non-code both supported by SmartDS and both enjoy benefits. However, being code sure has its privileges. For example, when you load code, the text is analyzed for language understanding. Hyperlinks are automatically added to any possible links. Cross-reference records are recorded for an in-depth cross-reference report between and amongst all the code documents. Code, comment, and strings are color-coded and segregated for search, allowing you to perform searches only on strings or only on code or only on comment. Content is also analyzed for complexity analysis, so we can determine how complicated it will be, how long it will take to work on specific code assets. Certain code, all the languages that we support flowcharting, for example, are pre-processed. So a lot of the code we get are pre-processed, almost pre-compiled, so they can then go and be shown to you as a flowchart or a field tracking report. And at load time, if you're doing a full mode, we have automatic intelligent archival is enabled for the code, meaning just load everything the company has and SmartDS figures out what's new, what's changed, what's delete. So in order for us to be able to not only search documents and emails and flowcharts, but to link them, we need SmartDS to give them code privileges. And that's done with a tool we call docs to source. It's right here in the middle. So we take the document, we push them through the docs to source, analyze, massage, and output a new document, and we stamp it with code privileges. But that document with code privileges that now supports hyperlinking and cross-referencing still has a link to the original document for preview. So now that's the technical explanation. Let's go see what it looks like in SmartDS Excel. All right, let's start looking at one or two examples of documents that were given code privileges. So I'm going to search for one of our main programs. Now this main program exists in a flowchart. So this is the Visio flowchart version of it. Just as it is loaded into the system, it did go through a conversion of SmartDS to convert it to PDF, because that's how we allow all the Visio documents in a company to be viewed by anyone without needing to install Visio. So we just convert it to PDF. No code privileges, just a conversion to PDF. We do extract the text from the PDF, but notice there's no hyperlinks here. While you can see the flowchart by clicking on the link up there, you do not have the ability to see if there's anything linking, and you do not have the action to create a cross-reference. There are no actions. And this is because there are no code privileges. Now, let's view at the same file with code privileges. First of all, you'll notice immediately that there's line numbers. which means we can link and jump to line numbers from other places. Second, you'll notice that there's hyperlinks to all the right data types: copybooks, SAP Trends, CA7, JCL Expanded, and so forth. And thirdly, in the actions, everything you can do with code, you can do here. So we can do a cross-reference diagram and generate, and we can see all the elements that this flowchart is tied into. So that's an example of what happens when you give a document code privileges. You can basically perform on the document anything you can perform on the code. So that's just one example. Now we're going to do another example. We're going to look for the program TTC095 on all data types. And I'm going to bring up that program. And I'm going to request in the quick actions a cross-reference report. By default, we have referencing and we have reference by, two different reports. However, in the report view, we have an option called diagram, which will link the two together. And now I bring your attention to the share presentation right here. So this is a PowerPoint that we have granted code privileges, meaning it has gone through our docs to source, and inside this PowerPoint, anything that can be hyperlinked is hyperlinked. And what it tells us when we look at a diagram like this as a cross-reference, if I was making analysis about a project, I would say, why are there 23 references in there and going to my program? So I can click on the number 23, and because that PowerPoint has gone through code privileges, I now have all these other elements here that are related, which now I can add to my analysis for my program. So there's a lot of merit in taking code documentation, design documents, test documents, and adding them to the system as code, because everything will link. Looking at this diagram, I also see a remedy trouble ticket. And the trouble ticket here is referenced by another element, which is another trouble ticket, and which is referenced by a document. So this was an Excel with on-call issues that were related to this specific remedy ticket, which then this ticket mentioned ticket number 1, which then mentioned my program. Clicking on the lines mutes everything out and shows you the direct relationship. So here's another example of taking a remedy, a trouble ticket, converting it to code, meaning giving it code privileges, so it hyperlinks, cross-references, and becomes part of this diagram. So while we look at a program, we already know we should be looking at the trouble ticket because something happened there that was related to this project, and there's a whole story to uncover there. I want to show you now what the PowerPoint looks like, not as code privilege. Let's just do a quick TTC095 and PPT, because I should find it because it mentions my program and it's a PowerPoint. Let's see what we find. And here it is. Here is the MS Office version, and here is the privileged version. Let's look at the MS Office version. So you see there's no line numbers. We try and present as much as we can out of the box to the actual document. So here's a document. At the bottom of the document, there is a page that talks about and mentions the programs. And if you click on the actual link here, it's going to download the presentation. And here's the actual presentation that we did. This is from many years ago. So again, having the presentation loaded into SmartTS as Microsoft Office is also good. And remember, we talked about meta tags, metadata fields in our previous lectures. Here's a great example of all the items that are searchable by field. So title, author, last saved by. So if we were to go and do a new search and this data type, Docs MS Office, was selected, all these fields should be visible. Let's give it a shot. I'm going to go to data types, select none, focus on the MS Office, and just by selecting the MS Office, the fields here should include author, I just saw it, author, created, file name, last saved by, all these fields. That's just kind of touching base on our previous lectures. So I hope that you understand that while we can take documents and just put them in SmartTS, point to a shared drive and find anything we want, usually there are key documents, test documents, design documents, that it's better to go the extra mile and put them through the docs to source to grant them code privileges so that they do hyperlinking and cross-reference. So that was a short lecture on linking documents, and now we will take questions.